Did you do any preparation specifically for your disability before you went abroad?
Before you apply for anytime you're going abroad, they tend to ask a lot about your medical history. So I did the typical stuff of just giving them all the paperwork that I knew about, right? And I explained to them that there were some activities I couldn't do. I was going to Brazil and India, so they would be like, there's water activities, there's like hiking opportunities, stuff like that. Um, and then also, I've always used these like plug things that are like molded to my ear when I do go in water and stuff. So the big thing that I did was just that I got new ones before I went to Brazil, which was exciting for me. Um, and that was kind of the big thing that I did. I obviously, at least when I went to Brazil, I tried to learn as much Portuguese as I could before, just because I knew that I would have a hard time like talking to people, just because I already have a hard time sometimes hearing people when I talk. So I tried to just learn as much as I could before going.
Where did you study, work, or volunteer abroad? For how long were you there? What was your experience like? Were the people around you aware of your disability, and how did they react to it?
Yeah. So I went to Brazil my sophomore year of high school for the entire year. So it was like 10 months. Um, it was amazing. I think that was like probably one of the best years of my life up until now. Um, and everybody there did know. It was one of the first things I explained to my host parents when I got there. And my host school got a letter, like the same letter that my mom would kind of write in the States for my teachers. We got like a Portuguese version and gave it to my school over there. Um, and none of them were mean about it. It was actually kind of exciting because my host mom had hosted a lot of students before. And what she did was that she like would label the entire house. Like for example, she would put like the word in Portuguese for door on the door on a sticky note, stuff like that. Um, and then that was amazing for me because I was learning words without having to like constantly be in conversation with people. Um, and she would give me a lot of books and stuff like that. So I think that without even trying to, she helped me with some of like the issue that I would enter with learning the language. Um, and I had like a host family, so you would go to your aunt's house, your cousin's house. Some of them were a little bit like at the beginning, they would be like, Samantha's not talking, she's not interacting with us. And then I would have to explain to them, like, I'm learning a new language and I also can't hear very well. So there's a lot for me going on in my brain. And sometimes that can give you headaches, it can give you, like, you can just feel really drained. Sometimes I feel like if I go through a day of a lot of like noises around me, I just can feel a little bit like drained by the end of the day. Um, yeah, and when I went to India, um, it was a J term, so it was a really small group of people. So I did the basic stuff of just like making sure I was in the front of the class. I would like go up to the professors, since the professors are with you so often, I would just kind of like ask a lot of questions individually afterwards with them and stuff. Um, yeah, in Brazil, the class that my entire grade was only 10 people. So that was amazing because I could get like really close like interactions with my teachers basically to where I could like look at them and know exactly what they're saying.
Was your mental health impacted negatively at any point while you were abroad because of anything related to your disability?
Um, when I went on my J term, not very much. It's only 2 weeks, and I think that I was also much older, right? But when I went to Brazil, I think that I don't know if it was directly the fact that I was having issues with my hearing, but it was mainly just the fact that I was not doing well in school, I was like, and that worried me because I was that kid that always did well in school. So I think my main mental health issues just came out of like, oh my God, like I can't get anything better than like a 15% on any test that I take because it's taking me longer than I want to learn Portuguese. But at the end of the day, right, my hearing is a part of that and it plays into me taking longer to learn. Um, So I remember just like having days where I'm like, bro, like I can't hear anybody. I don't know what they're saying. School doesn't make any sense. But I think that, to be honest, like you can get at that point in a year abroad, regardless of, you know, of anything. I think that that's kind of like, you end up being like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I'm just in the middle of nowhere and I don't really know at all what's going on. But I think that always adding to that on top of the fact that like, you know, that it may have to do with the fact that you can't hear people very well, it kind of can make you feel a type of way, I think.